FX Nation, what's up guys? Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to another video. And in this video guys, we're going to take a look at the 3 different types of weekly structures that you should know about and essentially how to identify them. Alright, now if you can identify these 3 different weekly structures, you'll be able to essentially know what kind of market conditions you're in and of course essentially know how to trade them. Alright guys, so without further ado, let's go. Alright guys, so as we look at the 3 different types of weekly structures that we have in Forex, the first one is really the most boring one. Alright, and what I mean by that is the fact that it doesn't make the same type of signature structure that we like to trade during the week. And so what ends up happening is as you can see here, we have the beginning of the week here on this yellow line, and then we have Sunday, Monday, we have Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and then Friday, still working on Friday. Okay, now as you can see, what is basically happening is literally nothing, right? It's literally moving straight sideways. Okay, so very important for you to notice this type of structure. Whenever you notice this type of structure where it's just moving sideways, right, and it's basically just consolidating back and forth between support and resistance, essentially you're going to be more focused on identifying really the patterns, like let's say a type 3 pattern here, to take that trade up there. Same thing, this one is probably going to be out of the edge, a trade outside of the edge, trade right here. This one here is going to be a type 1 setup here, railroad track right there. So these types of setups are the ones that you're gonna have to find basically the patterns that happened throughout this type of structure. Whether it be a type 1, type 2, type 3 pattern. That's really what you're going to focus on when you see this kind of structure that happens during the week. And again, the structure is pretty boring. It's literally when it's just going back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. It's not really moving that much. It's not doing the normal weekly structure that we talk about during the week. So this is the most boring as it gets, but essentially it allows you to concentrate on finding the patterns. And essentially, as you can see, out of this so far, this is just pound USD, and so far out of the week there's been trades on 3 of the days that you could have traded. Just looking at, I'm sure that there's probably a pattern here as well, but again, the easiest ones to see, here's probably a type 1 here, reversal off the New York session. But you can see that there's definitely more emphasis when we talk about the structure, more emphasis on basically trading strictly patterns and focusing more on the patterns than what day of the week it is and whether we expect a reversal that day, and things of that nature. All right, so this is basically the first type of pattern that we're talking about. So the second weekly structure that we look at for, or that we look for, is the one that we know and we love, right? It's the one where here we have Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and then Friday. Okay, and then of course what happens, we get a fake move to the downside. We hit the bottom, we come back up, we hit the bottom again on Wednesday, and then we reverse for Wednesday, Thursday, and then Friday we basically come back down and even out the actual week. Okay, so this is the weekly structure that we like. This is one that we can anticipate reversals on Tuesday or Wednesday to happen, and we can ride those reversals up for at least a day and a half, 2 days, So this is a normal one that we always talk about that we like to trade. So that's the second structure that you should be aware of. Okay, very easy to see because of what happens on Sunday, Monday, and then Tuesday, of course. And then we have that reversal happen, and then Wednesday, Thursday, we're up one direction. Then Friday, they basically finish it off with just a short little move. Okay, this is a normal weekly structure that we look at and that we like to trade. All right, this viewing this type of structure gives us an advantage because we already know essentially what it looks like and what it's going to do every single time. Okay, it's pretty consistent. Let's take a look at the third one. All right, so the third type of weekly structure is basically a weekly structure that's happening when a market is trending. All right, so a good example of that is Euro Pound. We know that that's been trending on the upside for some time now, for a couple weeks now. One thing I want you guys to understand and actually look and see the way that this started, right, is these are broken up into weeks here. So this is the starting of the week that started that whole trend. And I mean, you can see essentially we have our normal cycle right here. We have the Tuesday reverse, go all the way back into Thursday, and then reverse up, and then that's what starts the cycle here, right? So we started with the normal cycle that we like, and then from there, as you can see, the cycle itself just keeps trending up, trending up, trending up. There's no kind of like the first structure where you saw it, moving between support and resistance like this, and then you had to basically trade the patterns and stuff like that. This one literally, it just keeps going up. It keeps going higher and higher and higher. Okay, and this is essentially, the ones that are more, I would say they're more difficult to trade, because essentially that it's going to go in. If you're in a trending market, it's going in that particular direction, but essentially the patterns aren't very clear a lot of the times. However, there are some trades here, of course, that you can take all day long, and you could possibly even swing trade this if you like, but it is a little bit more difficult because it's going in an uptrend. So you don't typically get let's say a false move Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, and then a reverse. You don't get that type of behavior essentially. It just keeps going, creating higher highs and higher lows, higher highs, higher lows, higher highs, higher lows. Okay. One interesting thing about this is that you can see now it's starting to fall over, and now it's going to, basically it's starting to create lower lows and higher lows, lower lows and higher. So it's basically the trend is changing. Okay. But now you can see this current week that we're on here. With the current week that we're on here, you can see essentially, what kind of weekly structure we're working with here. And you can see, we're starting a new trend, right? And you can see it's not yet well defined as far as the type of weekly structure that we'd like to see. However, now that this is turning over, basically, you can pretty much predict, that it's going to be in a downtrend. Now it might start to do something of a weekly structure. Let's say next week of it moving, consolidating sideways. It could do that for a week or so. But essentially this is the start of a turnover. Okay. But anyway, so those are the three types of weekly structures in the Forex market. I know that we mainly just talked about this one here that we've always talked about, but there are other ones, and so I want to make sure that you guys are aware of those and what they look like. Again, the first one is just a movement of sideways between support and resistance, and it's literally just going sideways. It doesn't do anything at all, just like as you see on pound USD. Okay, pound USD strictly moves sideways between support and resistance. It doesn't create, the false move or anything like that. It literally just bounces off support and resistance. Okay. The second one is one that we love to trade because we know it so well. We've talked about it so well. And again, that's the one that we want to be in trade. On these ones here that move sideways and consolidate, then we're basically looking at trading patterns and patterns and patterns and patterns. We're focusing more on patterns instead of the other one where we're focusing more on trying to maybe swing trade it for a day and a half to 2 days or so. So on these type of patterns here that move sideways and consolidate, you're not going to have the advantage of knowing what the next day or two will bring, obviously, because it's just going to move sideways. So focus more on the actual pattern and the timing on those. All right, guys. So, guys, I hope this video brought you some value. Guys, go ahead and join us in our Telegram group. If you haven't joined us yet, go to fxntrading.com, sign up for free, and get the link to join us in Telegram. And that's it, guys. Enjoy your week of trading.